Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Tim, and I'm so excited today because I'm presenting my new topic, which is designing the deconstruction, where we'll take some time out of our day to really have methodical conversations about design and, about how things are designed, such as applications, websites, different things like that. Why is it good? Why is it bad? But anyway, let's get into the conversation because today we're going to be talking about the iOS store. Yes, the App Store on iOS devices. Throughout the years, the App Store has been redesigned, and redesigned. And Apple has really honed in on the best experiences for a case for a library type usage. And that's really what the App Store is. It's like a catalog, it's a library of applications that we can actually use to download onto our phone. Use them, if you understood what I said. So basically, within this catalog of all these different applications, they designed it in such a way to make it really easy and simple for us. But what they really did in this next update was they added a layer of stories on top of that. And so we're going to take a look at just that one new piece of the App Store. So to do that, I want to jump directly in on the computer because there's some things that I want to show you that I think will really work well for what I'm talking about today. So let's do that. So here's a screenshot on the computer that I took on Sunday, December 23rd. And these are the different things they had. And in my mind, I'm looking at this, and what they're trying to do is give me a story. As a user, they're trying to create a story for the day based on different things that I might look at, different things that I like. And creating this is actually create some type of engaging content. But it's not what they're doing for me as the user. With this story, it's what makes it really good design. What I think really makes this good design is the things that you don't see. And so I'm going to pull up some red line here. Basically, throughout this entire page, there are things that are very symmetrical, they're very similar, and they're the same throughout. So with these different spacing mechanisms in the white space being the same, what happens is our brain sees this and starts to understand, because our eyes will line this up. And when it's off balance or it's not accurate, we get this feeling like there's something that's off, there's something that's not right. But when it all is correct, we don't have that feeling. And then our eyes disregard it, our brain disregard it, and it just becomes known as this repeating element that we no longer focus on. And so look here, in between each of these cards, I'm going to call these cards, there is about 90 pixels of space in between each and every one of them. That creates this same type of spacing that our brain is going to disregard. We start to see it, we become very familiar with it. You look on each of the side, we have some padding here on each of the side of these different cards, and it is about 60 pixels apart. So right here, the width of the height is about 90 pixels. Here on the side is about 60 pixels apart. So that sets up the baseline for this design the app is doing. And then after you look at the red line, we can actually look at the containers that is held. So each of these containers itself has a height of 1,235 pixels. So these are the same. And basically what they've created in my mind is this content library, because that's what I'm starting to see here. Things that they can just go and grab and be like, yo, this is going to be it for today. And so all of these are the same. And then another layer on top of that is making sure that the text also aligned. So if we look at the margin and spacing on the text is pretty much the same size. It does get more smaller depending on if you have more content within it, but pretty much it's the same spacing throughout. And this is very important in application, especially when it's an application of a library type where things are repeated over and over. We become used to these. It's a really well-crafted space of the white space within the app, and it makes it really easy for me, the user, to digest this. So I always tell people to put things on the grid. And when you hear people say put it on the grid, pretty much this is what they're talking about. Apple has pretty much made a grid within this application, and the grid is pretty much the same throughout. And so they can take these different elements or objects and replace them at will, and we can actually jump into that. So this is what the red line looks like. We know these things are very symmetrical, they're the same throughout, and it creates a really well experience for me. It allows me to focus on the things that's important. So next I have here what I call the content library. So pretty much in my mind, this is what it would be. It would be, we have this card here. Let me go back to the other one so we can compare and contrast. We have this card here where I can just add any type of information I want to. So if it's going to be the new year, we're going to put new year. Here, any type of information I want to, throw a picture back there, and then I can create a story around what I'm talking about there. You have another type of content block that allows you to unite different apps here, and I can just update the text, running with it. You have one little focus area where I can put an image in the background as you sit here and add some text to it. These are the different content blocks, and content blocks are very important when it becomes designing application because it helps you move faster within the application. As long as everything else remains the same, such as your spacing, your use of white space, it all creates this unity within the application. There's one other minor small detail that I do want to show you that's here is there's a shadow behind these cards, and the shadow is basically creating another field. So it gives the idea that something is higher in elevation on the card. So we know that not everything is going to be in the same elevation. Like here on the very top, today is actually below the card, and then the card actually sits up a little higher. So that was a very good use of space, a very good use of white space there. It allows us to get these variations between white space that's on the background that's really bright, and then when the shadow comes over, it darkens a little bit, but also with the card itself being white with the shadow, it gives this playing field that something is higher, like a alien hovering over a field. So I really think they did really well in honing in on the experience. I think it was a really good idea to use some type of content library where you can go and drag and drop things. And I think it's a really good use of white space within inside the application. So overall, I must say that Apple did a really good job in defining the experience for me. And these different things today, I think, are very important and crucial when it goes to designing an application. So let's go back and review what was it, what are the things about Apple's design in the App Store that made it really great. Number one is a good use of white space. Number two, they repeated common elements, such as having the same amount of pixel width between these elements, meeting top and bottom and elements meeting left and right, margin and padding. Using common elements when it becomes text, making sure that the text is the same throughout, same type of usage with text. And then also the extra thing is once you have these different things, creating a content library that you can rely on that'll help you be able to tell that same type of visual story while you're also giving the user their own user story for that particular day. So I think Apple did a really great job with that, and these type of elements you can use to take onto a website or another application and produce that same type of results without you really jumping into really heavy user experience testing to find out how the design should be within the application. So there we have it. I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy I got finished with my first one. But yes, let's discuss this more down in the comments. Let's talk about other things that the App Store has done great. So I'm going to also put a link in the description to this PSD file so you can have a look at it and go through it and look at it yourself. And if you want to see more videos based on, as I call it, my topic, designing the deconstruction, just let me know in the comments and we can definitely do that. And also if there's other apps that you want me to look at, we can look at those too. So I want to thank you for joining me today in this first episode of Designing the Deconstruction, and I hope I made a better designer out of you today. Thanks. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.